Kia ora and welcome to another episode of Rural New Zealand. I'm your host Scotty Bamford. Join me as we go check out what's happening in the rural communities. On this week's episode we're at Lincoln University. I try a super tasty pie at the Leithfield Hotel. But first we're down in mid-Canterbury where we meet the 2015 Young Farmer of the Year award winner. How's it going, mate? Congratulations.
Thanks, Scotty. Thank you.
And we're down the farm today, so not lovely weather. You've really turned it on for us.
Yeah, we like to turn up the weather in mid-Canterbury. It's a beautiful place to live, as you can see right now.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Anyway, competition, man. How did it go?
Yeah, it was probably a lot more tighter than I'd planned. If I'm going to, in the ideal situation, we're not going to have it as a going on count back to practical, but hey, a win's a win. So it's pretty awesome, like all that time and effort and hours and hours and hours and hours of studying, like for it to pay off is pretty cool. Like it still really hasn't sunken in yet about how amazing it is. Like it's only been a couple of days. It still feels like a dream, to be honest. I feel like I'm going to wake up and have to do it all again.
So the road to the grand final, how did it all start?
So originally, the very original reason I went into the Young Farmer contest was you got a free hat and a sweet shirt. So examples here. So, and then I sort of got a taste for it and thought, God, this is pretty cool. And it like the prestige in that, it didn't really dawn on me to start with how big it was, and then you sort of make your regional finals and God, this is quite big, and sort of people start sort of taking notice of who you are or like helping with your CV, and then made grand final and far out, that was just a whole nother level. So to put that spun all the wheels of motion, making into that first grand final, and then we sort of, right, this is what I definitely want to do, I want to win this. So we sort of put a plan in place. Like I took a year off after the last grand final just to have a break. Like it's such a big commitment. Like all the other grand finalists and past guys all know how big it is. So I took a year off, and then back in it this year with the specific plan of winning, and we won, but she was fairly close in the end. So in the grand final this year in the beautiful Taupo, the forecast was terrible for the whole week, and it was fantastic. I don't think we saw rain the whole thing. So Thursday we had our technical day, so we got a 5-hour business exam, so it's analysing, it was a dairy opportunity, thankfully, not a sheep and beef one, so that sort of helped a wee bit. So analysing a dairy farm, looking at how we can improve business, just a general business analysis, and we also had an HR module, which was running sort of a dairy farm example of a large-scale dairy farm that employs Filipino workers, which is large-scale dairy farm employs Filipino workers. That's my role here. And then an interview with Jacqueline Rowath, the regional ANZ manager, and then another agricultural leader. So they grill you. It's a tough interview. They put you well through your paces. So that was the first sort of part of Thursday. Then Thursday afternoon we had our first head-to-head challenge, which was we had to share 2 sheep, and so head-to-head sharing sheep's bad enough, but one of the judges was David Fagan, and so everyone knows who he is. So you're sitting there sharing and you see David Fagan sitting there judging you, so you're a bit freaked out by that, but that's all part of it. And it was, being a dairy farm, everyone's like, he won't be able to share, but I can share a wee bit. So I think I ended up finishing 3rd, beat a sheep farmer, so it's pretty cool. About 3:30, 4 o'clock, you get your speech topic. So mine was the referee's decision is final. So I ref rugby in mid-Canterbury, so that was sort of suited to me. That's what the idea was of all the speech topics. So I did, and then we have to go to the ANZ speech dinner, speak at that, which fairly intimidating given that's all the major sponsors are there, all the head agriculture, I'm pretty sure Nathan Guy was there. There's a lot of powerful, well-known people, so speaking in front of them is fairly intimidating. But in all honesty, it's only 3 minutes, so it was probably the easiest thing that happened all day. So it ended up, coming down to the last question of the last round of the last thing. And to be perfectly honest, I pressed the buzzer on the question too. Sully just happened to beat me, and I would have said exactly the same answer. Because that question, what is the annual intake for a one stock unit, they wanted energy, but when you hear annual intake with your studying, it's 550 kilos of dry matter for one stock unit. So I would have said the same thing. And so he beat me, and then I went to account back, and for the life of me, I couldn't remember what the score was. Like where I'd scored in practical and where Sully had scored, and then so they announced it, and it's pretty awesome. Yeah, pretty mental. And then they sort of, what are you feeling? What do you got to say? And I just had nothing to say.
I'm done, it's over.
And then just sort of gather yourself a bit. But like you hit instantly with relief, because like you say, it's over, it's done, excitement, joy, elation, tired, like just mentally exhausted. Like it's 3 huge days and then 6 months leading up to it. it was a really surreal feeling. The biggest thing, like I said before, is it still feels like a dream. Like I'm just waiting to wake up and have, oh no, we're just off the Taupo now. So that was pretty awesome, and just to sort of, to put all that time and effort and for it to pay off is sort of probably the biggest payoff of the whole thing so far.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, bro,
Thanks, Scotty.
Well done. And,
cheers.
Enjoy your holiday.
I will do.
I'm Mick Abbott. I'm head of school at the School of Landscape Architecture here out at Lincoln University. We've got the oldest program in the country, and definitely what we think's the best in Australasia. We have many students come from all around the world, and it's a place where people learn to become landscape architects. It's a fully accredited program, which means that when you go out from here, there's a career waiting for you, and it's got a professional body that supports that. We have a lot of students coming here from Asia, but also from Europe, the States, and even South America. And I think it's because New Zealand's known around the world as being really focused on land and the environment, and that's one of the ways in which I think that come to a place that's focused on that, and it's a chance to really sort of, I suppose, learn how to design it, think about what it might become in the future. So this is the model that we've been working on for the Eden project, trying to work out the various forms. A lot of it in this project is trying to understand the relationship of water. We've got springs coming up, we've got in here are individual rooms, one's a rainbow room, another's a moss room, but these are sails that speak of our culture, whether all of us in terms of our heritage have come across the ocean, and these can be lit up at night so that they can be mountains, they can be ocean, they can be flames, they can be feathers. And so this is sort of the scheme. We work a lot with models. We also do a lot of sketching and a lot of looking at sort of different options, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Design is a coming together of all different elements, and this is I suppose you can see our process laid out on the walls and the tables.
Collaboration.
Yeah. And it's a collaboration of materials, ideas and people. And so, we're all working to sort of come up with new possibilities. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're also working on a project here out at Airwell Forest, where basically we're using all the shelter belt planting around the whole dairy development that's going on out there to introduce a distributive native forest. So we can use the different plants based upon how they might help the function of the farm, but taken together, what they create is a stepping stone for Kiruru and Tui to come across the plains. And that's the exciting sort of dimension of this project, that not only is it trying to work to make the farm effective in its operation in terms of shelter and so on, but also we're trying to create a regional gain as well. I have worked in other universities which are quite sort of looking at issues for the sake of issues. Here we're very much engaged with real problems, and so particularly in landscape architecture we're trying to find what's really happening and then how can we make a tangible difference. So it's not just what's the theory, but actually can we create value on the ground. And I suppose that's where you're here in the design lab, which is where we sort of are very applied in our research. We were taking complex situations with lots of different partners and saying how can we bring value back to the situations that they have.
After the break, we're at the Boyle River camp, and then we talk to the guys from Ironman 4x4. Welcome back to rural New Zealand. The Boyle River camp is in the middle of the Southern Alps, but we managed to brave the harsh conditions and we did some rock climbing. What's happening here, Billy? What are these kids up to today?
These are lovely students here attempting to climb this beautiful rock face with as much grace and style as they possibly can.
Sweet. So the three different belay lines. What ones? Different challenges?
So they all offer something slightly different. In terms of one being harder than the other, it's probably not quite right.
Each individual one has its own sort of challenges and stuff.
Definitely, and they can make it as hard or as easy as they want. Like, for example, Josh here just decided to take a hard line on that line, where he could have taken an easy option if he wanted to.
So what kind of safety gear do you guys use and stuff like that?
So all the equipment is provided by the Boyle, where we get most of it through aspiring. However, like in terms of doing rescues and that sort of thing, the main one that we will ever need is what we call a top rope rescue, and every year we're constantly trained in that, and everything I need for that is on my harness right now. So
And what kind of groups do you get up here?
all sorts from, well, it's mainly school groups, but from all over the country. So get someone from up in Auckland, all over Canterbury, South Canterbury, even the coast. Come and visit us here. So.
And are these ropes safe?
Believe it or not, each one of these ropes can hold up a baby elephant.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's a lot safer climbing than it is driving to the climbing site. So it's quite an oxymoron there when you think about it.
And so the emphasis on this whole event is sort of teamwork and...
Definitely teamwork, communication and encouragement. Yeah, lots of encouragement.
And what will these kids potentially get out of this activity?
Other than a bit of bonding, the ability to face their fears is a great thing. Like for myself, like I'm scared of heights, but just by me getting out there and giving things a go, just slowly work at it, which is cool.
And a lovely view at the top.
Absolutely gorgeous at the top.
Especially on a day like today, I mean snow-capped mountains, and it's sunny.
Tell me about it.
For more information on these activities, get in touch with the Boyle River crew. Hey Vince, how's it going?
Good, Scott.
Right, suspension, very important part of the machine.
Absolutely, yep. It can make or break a vehicle, as they say. And Ironman's specialty is suspension. Been doing it for over 50 years, and we've got one of the largest ranges of four-wheel drive suspension in the world. So we certainly know what we're doing and have the expertise there. And of course it's all tested in good old Australia in the outback, so it's well proven and well tested products.
Cool. So what do we got here?
Basically what we've got here is one of our nitro gas shock absorbers. As you can see, it's cut away, so it's not the standard one, so you wouldn't use that one in your truck, but for demonstration purposes it's going to give us a bit of an idea. So all our shock absorbers we do are uprated from the standard truck ones that come out on your vehicle from the original vehicle manufacturer. This one here is a nitrogen gas one, so what they call a nitro gas. And what it has, it's a twin tube shock absorber, so it has an outer tube and an inner tube. So if you're doing a bit of rough country work and you damage that outer tube, it doesn't actually affect the ability of the shock absorber to work. So nice and strong. This one here has a 35mm piston, so you can see this is the piston that works in here, and the rod that connects it all up is a 16mm rod. So again, nice heavy duty, and it's probably 20 or 30% stronger than what you would have on an original vehicle one. Rubber bushing, all MIG welded around there, and all our suspension components come with a 3-year 60,000k warranty. So, and bigger, stronger, quite often we set them up so they're a little bit taller and a little bit got a bit more stretch than a standard one, so if you're off-roading and things you get better wheel. That's it, yep, the wheels will travel a bit more. Yep. So that's our one step up on the heavy duty, what we call a nitro gas. It has oil with nitrogen gas on top of it. It's a twin acting positive pressure shock absorber and good heavy duty. And we would, this is probably what we sell, 80-90% of what we sell. And it's, very good for a sort of a combination of on-road, off-road use. We do another one as well. And this is our heavy duty version. So it's what we call a foam cell shock absorber. So basically you can see straight away that it's got a bigger housing, bigger piston. So this piston goes up to a 41mm piston, and the rod that connects it all down here is a 19mm rod. So it's a bigger unit all round.
Sturdier.
Yep, a lot heavier. Again, twin tube, and the difference is you can see this black material that goes around in here is what we call foam, and what that does is it lets us get a full component of oil and gas trapped in that foam in there, so we can actually get more material in there. And when a shock absorber is working very hard, it produces a lot of heat, so it's transferring kinetic energy into heat, and the way to get rid of that obviously is just through heat sink out to the outside air. And this one here, with a lot more surface area, a lot more oil, can transfer that heat out a lot better. So shock absorbers that are working really hard in very rough conditions and hot conditions, we would recommend using the foam cell, because we can transfer that heat out a lot better. So yeah, this is one of our ultimate shock absorbers. Yeah. Yes, and we've got the Land Cruiser here is fitted out with one of our suspension kits, which is a foam cell. It's a 50mm lift as well, and I think we're going to go and do a bit of driving just to show the difference you can get with an upgraded suspension.
Cool. Stay tuned, because after the break I talk to Ben Todhunter about the South Island Farmer of the Year, and then I go for a wander around the Leithfield Hotel. See you soon. So we're here in Mackay Gorge. We're talking to Ben about the South Island Farmer of the Year. He's a chairperson. How's it all going, Ben?
Yeah, it's good, thanks, Scott. We're just in the process of finalising the entrance for this year's competition, so it's pretty exciting when we get to see who the names and who's put their hands up for that. Entries close the end of July, and then the next thing we line up for is the judging for those guys, and in the finals night in November the 18th at Lincoln, which is always a great night. I always hear their stories and things.
Have you had quite a few good people come through so far?
Well, entries close the end of the month, so we're not quite sure, but we've had Fiona Hancock does a lot of the entries for us, and she's had some good conversations with them, good people who put their hands up and say they're going to enter. So we'll wait and we'll see them when they turn up.
And is there a sort of particular way of judging them, or is it sort of very varied?
So the judging for the competition is it's based on some, I guess, business criteria with an emphasis on excellence and innovation, and it's transferable across all primary industries really. So we can have people in aquaculture or horticulture or agriculture enter the competition. We can judge them on the similar criteria.
So I hear there's a pretty good award at the end of it for the winners.
So the whole purpose of the competition is to try and advance agriculture in New Zealand, and the winner gets to travel, and there's $20,000 prize and they get to travel. But from what we can see, that's a really small part of the competition, the awards they get out of it. They get a really good look at their business. There's 2 lots of judging from some quite smart judges. They'll provide some feedback on their properties, and then they get to clarify what they're doing and present that to the community at the finals night, and then they get to go and travel and research something that they're interested in that's relevant to their business. Yeah, so there's a whole range of awards, but I think that's, from what we can see, that's a small part of it.
And in the finals night, what sort of happens there? Is it just a celebration of everyone who's sort of entered and stuff like that?
The thing I really like about the finals night is it tells the stories of the finalists, and generally the stories are amazing. You've got these 4 or 5 families that have built up an enormous amount of capital in agriculture in their lifetimes, and they've done that through a lot of it's perspiration, taking some risk, innovation, and being bold with what they do. And those stories they're always inspirational, and there's always something you can learn from each finalist. It's a really exciting night. So how that night works is that each of the finalists presents their story for about 15 minutes, and then they judge on that presentation, and then we will present the winner, and there'll be a dinner, and we're looking at having a panel discussion on agriculture as well, included in that night, and it's all going to be in the same venue at Lincoln, and we'll make it quite a smart event this year.
Okay, so we're here in Leithfield. I'm going to check out the Leithfield Hotel, so let's go inside. And here we have the man of the moment, Mike. How's it going?
Good. Thanks, Scotty.
Keeping out of trouble?
Always.
So this beautiful old hotel, tell me a bit about it.
Well, this particular hotel's been here, well, it was the original hotel burnt down about 103 years ago.
Wow.
And this one was built then, and rebuilt here. And so she's been a pub ever since. Hasn't really changed a lot in those 100 years, or 103 years now.
Yeah.
So, and the reality for us, well, most of New Zealand country now, there's fewer and fewer of these old places around. So, well, fortunately, this one's built of wood, so it doesn't rock too much in the earthquakes. So we're all good on that front.
Yeah.
But
and it used to be just off the main drag, is that right?
Well, the road directly outside there used to be the main road going north. And then some years ago they changed that. There used to be 2 pubs here actually,
wow.
And shops and everything.
Yeah.
And then they moved the road for a couple of 100 yards to the east, and sort of Leithfield Beach, I suppose. All those commercial ventures sort of didn't get the traffic they were, and this is the only one really left in Leithfield now. So it's, but having said that, it's still a popular destination for lots of folk, and lots of people know about it still, which is good.
Oh, cool. And do you sort of look after the locals, or you get a lot of travellers?
It's sort of a mix. We've got a really great bunch of locals, and the pub's supported really well from both the Leithfield village here, Leithfield Beach, and Amberley Beach. So we have that sort of demographic of the locals, but we're also, a lot of people are coming from town now out this way, sort of escaping Christchurch, I suppose, for the weekend. And this is just, as I said before, a nice distance for them to come. We've focused very much on food, and it's now a place people can come and get what is traditional Kiwi pub food, and that's proving really successful for us. So it's becoming a popular destination for the food, strangely enough, not just the beer we pour.
So we're in the garden bar. It's very nice. You've been working on it nice and hard?
I'd like to say yes, but there's people that help me. Well, actually do most of the work. I do bugger all. But yeah, no, a really popular place, and it's there's lots of sort of little rooms, if you like, around the place, and so you can escape the wind or the sun in the summer. And during the summer months, we tend to have a band out here on a Sunday, and people can come out here, they eat, spend the afternoon just listening to music, having a couple of sherbets, and it's all good.
Yeah. So we're in the restaurant. How many people can you seat in here?
Just under 50, so it's not a huge restaurant, and it pretty much gets booked out on a Sunday and sometimes a Friday. During the lunch, people come out for their roasts and their pies.
Yeah.
It seems to be the signature dish here at the moment.
Yeah, and your pies, yes, you actually make the pies on site, is that right?
Yeah, we make actually all the food we have here we make on site, but the pies we bake every day, and they're very popular with a range of people. Too popular sometimes because we tend to run out and have to be baking in the middle of the day, which we prefer not to do. But it's a good problem to have.
So the famous pie, what's in it?
It's a steak and mushroom pie. Can't tell you all the other ingredients; would have to kill you then. But it's like most food. If you make things simple, you decent quality ingredients, you can make nice food. And our chefs really care about their. We're very fortunate with our chefs and our kitchen staff, and so they really care about it. So they're pretty consistency is what it's all about, and we'd like to think consistently good. Here's our head chef who prepared this for you.
That looks lovely. Thank you.
No worries.
Look at that. That looks tasty. Might have to dig in. Give it a test. Ooh. All that pastry's lovely. That's really good. That's fantastic. So if you guys want to check out this lovely pie, come down to the Leithfield Hotel and grab a pie and a jug and enjoy the surroundings. Thanks for watching Rural New Zealand. I certainly hope you enjoyed the show. Just remember to like us on Facebook, and if you've missed something, you can watch it on demand. Catch you guys next time when we go on another amazing adventure. See you then.